On paper, the Denver Nuggets vs. the Minnesota Timberwolves was supposed to be among the most exciting and entertaining series of these playoffs, and the truth is, it has been, but no one could have predicted the scenario of the Nuggets dropping 2 games at home and then fighting back to recapture the advantage. Now, one of the major draws of this series was watching the 4-time reigning Defensive Player of the Year match up with the 3-time reigning Most Valuable Player. It's fairly rare, but since 1983, there have been 10 instances when the Defensive Player of the Year met the Most Valuable Player in a playoff series, this year being the 10th time. Of those 9 matchups, not including this year, 7 of the 9 MVPs beat the Defensive Player of the Year and his team, 2008 and 2009 being the outliers. In large part, this is what should be expected. The MVP is most commonly given to the best player on the best team, but this season, and more modernly, the winner of the MVP award is a little more dynamic. This matchup was particularly interesting because the 2 teams' regular season record was only 1 game different. Now, of the 10 occurrences of the DPOY vs MVP matchup, this year is additionally special because the 2 players are listed at the same position, giving fans multiple moments of them actually facing off one-on-one. That has really only happened one other time. In the aftermath of Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals, a common sentiment across mainstream media was that Nikola Jokic might have finally encountered a formidable opponent. The Minnesota Timberwolves, crafted by the same general manager responsible for assembling Jokic's Nuggets, managed to thrust Denver into a challenging 0-2 deficit. Their strategy involved deploying a barrage of towering 7-footers and lengthy wing players to disrupt Jokic's play. Following those 2 matchups, especially the stunning defeat in the second game, it appeared that the blueprint for unsettling Jokic had been totally unveiled, that being to utilize size, physicality, and strategic positioning to unsettle him. The team designed specifically to counter the Denver Nuggets seemed to be executing their plan effectively. Now, Rudy Gobert will likely go down as a Hall of Famer, as one of just 3 players in NBA history to secure 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards. His performance during the 2023-24 season with Minnesota stands out as one of his career highlights. Throughout the season, the Timberwolves maintained their status as the top defensive team, with Gobert's resurgence playing a pivotal role in their success on that end of the court. Additionally, he expanded his defensive responsibilities this year by frequently venturing out to the perimeter to guard smaller players on switches, a skill many of his critics doubted he possessed. But here's the thing. Since the mainstream talking heads wrote the Joker off, here's how things have gone. Nikola Jokic managed to score 99 points on 40 of 66 shooting, securing 28 rebounds and delivering 29 assists. In Game 5, which the Nuggets clinched with a 112-97 victory, Jokic arguably showcased his greatest performance yet. While he's had numerous outstanding games in the past, his performance last night, hosting 40 points, 7 rebounds, and 13 assists on 15 of 22 shooting, stood out for its pure dominant nature. This was an aggressive Jokic, absolutely torturing Rudy Gobert in the Timberwolves defense. Rudy Gobert, the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, who the Timberwolves invested heavily to bolster this anti-Jokic defensive scheme, found himself at the receiving end of Jokic's aggression. Nikola Jokic, typically more focused on facilitating for his teammates rather than seeking his own shots, relentlessly targeted Gobert throughout the game. He orchestrated offensive plays aimed at isolating Gobert in one-on-one situations, exploiting these opportunities to unleash a relentless onslaught of scoring. Here's a couple of them. Starting from the wing 3-point line, Jokic gets downhill until he has great position in front of the hoop, and with a series of rocks and pivots, he fades away with great touch. Now, this will be a recurring theme, but I'm not sure one-on-one what Gobert should have done differently. Again, from the 3-point line, this time at the top of the key, Jokic uses a decoy screen to attack left, getting downhill into Gobert's body, drawing a foul and throwing up a ridiculous floater. Again, nothing Gobert can do. This time, Jokic uses an Aaron Gordon screen to get the preferred matchup, that matchup being against the Defensive Player of the Year. Jokic again uses 3 shoulder fakes, this time to get to a heavily contested hook shot, which of course is somehow thrown with perfect touch. Okay, number 4. Now, after driving under the hoop, fading away, Jokic somehow makes this. I mean, what kind of analysis is there to give? And then there's Jokic turning into Luka Doncic with a step back 3 at the end of the shot clock. Despite his 3 MVP awards and championship ring, watching live, I was still taken aback by Jokic's dominance in this playoff game. Honestly, he played as close to perfect as I've seen. I haven't even mentioned the defense or focused on the 13 assists or 0 turnovers or shooting 68%. Now, although the series dynamics have drastically shifted, I don't think the Timberwolves were misguided in deploying their size and length. They effectively stifled the Nuggets in a manner unprecedented in the Jokic era. However, the beauty of a 7-game series lies in adaptability. Jokic encountered a meticulously crafted roster and defensive strategy, honed over years to frustrate him, and he had to devise a response. Throughout this series, he witnessed Jamal Murray be physically affected and neutralized. Michael Porter Jr.'s shooting has faltered, and for the most part, Anthony Edwards has navigated the court with dominant ease. These were challenges Jokic had to solve on the fly, which he's now accomplished for 3 consecutive games. This ability to find solutions defines a truly generational player. But the truth is, while Nikola Jokic put on a classic performance, the team as a unit has reached another level. The Nuggets squad displayed in the past 3 games is quickly re-emerging as favorites in the West, and maybe in the NBA. If Jokic maintains this caliber of performance, and his teammates step up, especially when their second and third options falter. Despite Jamal Murray's subdued performance, it had minimal impact on Game 5. Similarly, Michael Porter Jr. had one of his weakest postseason outings, yet its significance was marginal. Instead, Aaron Gordon once again emerged as a dominant force, posting 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope contributed 16 crucial points, while Christian Braun made a notable impact coming off the bench. But this series remains ongoing. The Nuggets will continue to rely on their leader to propel them to the next round. And if we've learned anything from this matchup, Nikola Jokic is fully capable of leading this team back to the NBA championship. Thanks for watching Sports Pantheon.